En la Plaza de Reyes, Black Sumenta, Soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber? ¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, faltóme. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flojo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Elevé mi level con un label y un Faber-Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tabua? Juro por mis aguas que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchano neto, búscame por pico sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi bro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle taco bron. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el Black Sheep, Black Sea Metal de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, so bloom.
Nero Luis, man, desempeña a la victoria para que sepa. Incas Mo, Money Gang Gang, yeah, yeah, Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lele, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. Está súper rafina la Dodo Style, metido en la tina aprendiendo un quizá. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal, yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad, yeah. Salí de ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás, yeah. La calle limeña aquí nadie la dueña, ya nada es igual, yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad, yeah. Salí de ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás, yeah. La calle limeña aquí nada le dueña, ya nada es igual, yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Si yo soy tu papá, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cinco Mob, negro, yeah. Cinco Mob, nigga, yeah. Nero Luigi, man. Incas Mob, yeah. It's Money Gang, 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 yeah.
Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3. Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya inco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under, puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré el ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirven ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Yo espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante por querer lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito pa' que el mundo conociéramos. De esta parte mejor interprete que ha parido esta cordillera. Sin luz afuera, que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiembla el pavimento. Cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas. La calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro. Y a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clown del clown en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega el balón. Y para esta pantalla no existe patrón. Yo ya me sé la cuestión y doy fe por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final de Mbappé con la edad de bufón. De Yango en la maldita casa. Plaza de Reyes, papá. El Nero Luigi, Black Mental. Hip hop peruano. Rasgo en la maldita base. Yeah.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material in use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Hope you guys can hear me. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Saludos everybody, man. Shalom. Buenos días. BTC, what's up? All we revealed. What's up, Al, man? Good to see y'all. Let me just kind of do this real quick. Oh, my bad. I'm going too fast. Meshiacha Chronicles, I hope you've been doing good. And that's for the rest of our Hinted Tube. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I've been a little busy. What up, BTC? Jeremias, buenos días. What's up, bro? We talked already, man. And then Al, you know what's up. Shalom, brother. Greetings, familia. All right. And for all you that are here chatting away or here on the lookout, watching from a distance, I got something interesting for you guys. I titled this objectively unbiased facts, or objectively speaking with unbiased facts. I'm going to cover 3 things and then we'll move on and call that a night. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can today. Okay. So I'll let you guys know already. Not sure why you guys waited that long to be here for like 7 people, and now I show up and it's 4. Well, the hell with you. Listen, let me take this hat off because I may read something. You know, when I first came into this whole, whatever you guys want to call it, everybody in this circle of BHIism had absolutely no problem with me calling out the white man all the time. No problem whatsoever. Didn't have a problem with me anger towards them or anything, man. Y'all were some support of that shit. But then all of a sudden, I'm bringing points out that have nothing to do with color. Just this is what certain people did, and you guys hate me for that shit. When I mean you guys, my so-called own gente. It's okay when you dash that, putting all this garbage on one particular nation of people, which I have not forgotten. Never will I ever forget. And Jeremias, you know what's up. You know that. But I just find it funny that now you say, "Oh, poor them," yet they're all in the same. So I'm going to show you guys some things for today, and I'm going to try to be as objective as possible, not subjective, with a narrative. And this goes to a ver a quién le queda el pinche zapato, güey. Let's start off with this first. Okay. It wouldn't matter to me. These things wouldn't matter to me, right? If it was, if we were told already. Why hide certain things? So, sorry to tell you, so-called white people and so-called black people that are now in this conspiracy theory that, oh my God, the elite, they don't care about us. Hold on. Gotcha, bitch. You guys messed that up a long time ago. The moment this country went from gold standard to printing paper, y'all done fucked up. And I found it in this link here, and I'll talk about it another day. But you see, for us, so-called, us indigenous of this land, you see, we've been getting it since you guys got here. Since you guys got here, we've been getting it. And we're talking about people from another continent, okay? So let's begin. There's this gentleman called Robert Smalls. This is the disqualified miscegenator. This is from a snippet I found. I don't know where, but I'm going to show you the actual article that talks about this, and then we'll move on. Robert Smalls is of Beaufort, a ginger cake Negro, like redhead, I guess, kind of like Canelo, but Negro, moved to add words, and that any white person who lives and cohabits with a Negro or mulatto or person who shall have 1/8 or more of Negro blood shall be disqualified from holding any office of emolument of or trust in the state. And the offspring of such living or cohabitation shall bear the name of the father and shall be entitled to inherit. So he's saying, if anybody at that moment who marries of white quote unquote standard and marries a so-called Negro, mulatto, or any person, that person's child would be follower of the father. Now, two things occurred here. Who is this ginger cake Negro allowed to make these particular, how can I say this? Strikes are adding to words regarding Congress and power. We, from our understanding, recently, in 1990, when I was in school, like, high school and shit, this didn't happen to so-called Negroes, let alone us. I know that for a fact, okay? So, anyhow, let's continue. In another snippet, this gentleman comes up again. It says here, B.R. Tillman of Edgefield moved to reconsider the vote by which the amendment had been tabled, which was agreed to. So now we understand that this gentleman, ginger cake Negro, Robert Smalls, is now amending amendments. In this time, I want to remind you, M.R. Cooper then renewed his amendments after debates by Robert Smalls, once again, R.B.R. Tillman, George E. Prince of Anderson, R.D. Ely, and Thomas L. E. Miller, of Beaufort, Canary Negro. A motion to lay the Cooper amendment to the table was defeated, and pending further debate, the convention adjourned. Smalls having the floor. When the consideration of the matter was resumed the next day, Robert Aldrich of Barnell moved to strike out the entire section and to indefinitely postpone all the amendments. On motion to George Tillman of the Edgefield, this was laid on the table, and like was the Copper Amendment, the same, shada, shada, shada. On the bottom, it says white standard. Remember, keep in mind, this is individuals striking amendments at the highest power of the American table of so-called, from what we so-called Hispanics have understood, was that this was strictly a white nation who took these lands away from the so-called Hispanics, so-called Mexicans, more indigenous. Because if anything, it belonged to us originally. So again, I motion to add this evidence to my case, I guess I should say. Because apparently, you guys think that what I'm doing is because I'm a racist. Again, when my anger and it was justified, was solely towards the white man, okay? You BHIisms, IUIC, all of you guys were okay with my anger and hate towards the white man. And now that I'm having a more a plethora of information, or empirical data, you should say, in case you guys want to look that shit up. Now you got a problem with me. Now you say that I'm a racist now. Okay. I would like to add that when you are in this environment, in this type of talk, as we read, right? In this type of talk, okay? I find it very striking that there's such a power between black and white, going back and forth. Yet we were told otherwise. We were told that it was a strictly white power. That's what we were told. The recent announcements of candidates for the different offices to be filled at the next unsigned general elections to the spiritual Fort grounds for serious reactions. The fact stares every man in the face that the white people are almost hopelessly divided, while the Negroes, for all the practical purposes of their party, were united. I am aware that something discord and division reigned in the ranks too, but it seems to me that a moment's reflection will dispel this as a delusion. It is a well recognized and familiar principle of politics that organization is an absolute prerequisite and that only safeguard against the mischief-making malcontents of any party. Here we're seeing that there was a unity, and somehow the white man is trying to unite because apparently they were divided, unlike the Negro at this time. Okay. White officials and Negro masters. Darky's Liberty. It says the Republicans give us a full report of the speech made by the Negro Theophile at a meeting of the Black Man's Party in Baton Rouge. Theophilio is a representative in the Billy Goat legislature, which holds its adory furious sessions in Mechanics Hall. After giving an account of his arduous legislative labors, he tries to show that the Negroes have dealt with equitable forbearance towards their white inferiors. Let that sink in. Towards their white inferiors. This is in the 1800s, okay? Late, sorry. For the benefit of doubt, I'll say it late 1800, 1895, something around there. If anyone wants to read the text without gloss or interpolation, he can use it in the Republicans, but we can take the liberty of amending it according to the facts The parts between the brackets are ours, and the rest is Theophiles Elaine's. Why, Mr. President, in our parish of West Baton Rouge, we, the Buck, I guess it says niggars, have a vote of 1,350, a majority of at least 650. And how do we stand about the organization of a black man's party? Continue. This one's very interesting. To the white people of the parish of Lafayette, fellow citizens, since the termination of the war between the states, the Negroes binded together under the leadership of carpetbaggers and bad men. These are men from the north, and have all in all of our states and I guess periodical elections. As soon as they were enfranchised, they raised the black banner rather under it, and some a Negro party to the state, I guess. And notwithstanding the many repeated efforts made by good and prominent white men to make them understand that their welfare was so closely linked to the welfare of white people, that it was their interest to act with them in the elections for the purpose of putting an end to the corruption and abuse of all sorts which had crept in the administration of our public affairs. Under the rule of adventurers, into those hands the state government had fallen. No argument and no something to that effect. So reading this here, it sounds to me like people of power were considering the division and, segregation between the two, usurping some over the others, and the poor whites wanted the rich or the poor blacks to get together because the elites white and elites black were having power, something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is just snippets I found. Bear with me. We're going to get to the article real quick. Give me a second. Let's see. I got one more, and then I'll look into what you guys are saying, because I do see some text. Let's see. It is proposed to inaugurate a conflict between the whites and blacks. The black plowman shall be set against the white farmer, the black clayman, and deckhand against the sipper, the black laborer on the leave against the contractor, the colored nurse against the white infant that she rocks nightly to sleep in her arms. The colored nurse shall be driven from the couch of the fevered patient. This is the meaning of this crazy sentiment. We are for white men in everything, in our public office, in our stores, in our steamers, in our drays, floats, and in our families, in our fields, everywhere. We wish every reflecting American to apply this proposal to its own affairs. Can he adopt this resolution of non-intercourse? Can he discharge the colored laborer and domestic of his employ and await the introduction of labor to supply his place? Observe, the color race is an admitted numerical majority of its 380,000. There must be of male and female adults and children, 100,000 employed in the industrial and domestic service of society. This place must be supplied by white residents or immigrants. You guys get the gist of it. Let me see what you guys got real quick. Yeah, I know, bro. I know what you mean, man. There's a literal party in the government called the Black Caucus in the African American branch in the government. There's no Mexican or Hispanic caucus party out there. Nah, not at all. Not at all. Lamentations 1 and 5. Her adversaries are the chiefs. Her enemies prosper. Let me leave that one up there. Her enemies prosper. Now, remember, I told you guys. By the way, this is from Kiwi Courier, volume May 6, 1908, image 6. This is from University of Southern California. Image provided by them. You guys can see it. It's just articles, but I want to bring this to your attention. The man is Robert Smalls Buford. We saw that, right? So again, Lamentations 1 and 5. Her adversaries are the chiefs. Again, you guys had no problem when I was bringing off fire towards a white man and telling him, you did this, you did that, you did that. But then I start pulling layers upon layers, and I'm like, wait a minute, it wasn't just them, and they're not even technically considered these things, but you guys now have a problem. Okay, fine. That's what it is. Whatever. So let me finish this. Again, for the Lord hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy. And you want to know something? There are 2 books that I was going to bring out today, and I'm trying to trim this not to go so long. And one of them actually talks about that. 2 great books. I'm going to read one and show you the other one, and maybe I'll show that other one the next day or another time. Let me show you this real quick. Okay, this is in this article. Fix this. This is pretty nuts, man. This is Cappers knocks Negro from platform. Things look lively. So just to summarize, there was the State Republican Convention, which was held in Colombia. It was an issue between Capers from the Internal Revenue and knocked Thompson, colored, off the platform. So there was a scuffle between these guys. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, check this out. He lays upon the floor for several moments, and it was thought that he was possibly he was seriously injured because he pushed him. The guy hurt his head. Blah 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 blah. All right, let me skip. But this started trouble, and for a while it looked as if there would be a general shooting melee. Negroes by the score slapped their hands to their hip pockets because they all had guns. This is like government, white and black folks wrestling each other. That's not what we were taught. Now, in case you guys want to know, we are being told, and we were told in these camps, that the white man and the black man had nothing like this whatsoever. No kind of equality, especially in these times. I'm just saying. Hey, listen, you want to tell me that we're the same people, fine. I'll take your word for it. Then let me study it. And now that I find out that we're not, you got a problem. I don't understand why now it's a problem for you guys. These are facts. These are not lies. I'm not making this up. You guys can pull this. These are articles. It shows that, well, at least my understanding in 1895, in 1908, wherever this between 1895 and 1910, for example, we didn't know how to read and write. And the only religious concept we had was Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Ave María, Santa de Dios. Right? Or what's the other one? El Credo, or Diez Mandamientos, or shit, man, I can't. Thank God I don't remember them no more. Or this, the bautismos, the stuff that you had to remember. That's all we had. Here, I'm seeing people that understand law and have so-called respect and a place in this country at this time. We've been told something different. Why is that a problem now? Because I'm reading. You guys have a problem with me because I'm reading now. Oh, you want me to be a dumb person and then teach me your religion? Friends of Captain Caper quickly surrounded him, white and colored. And for a few moments, the excited Negroes were attempting to get at him, were kept back of the platform. Captain Caper stood his ground and for a while refused to heed the advice of friends to get off the platform, where he had proved a good target for any Negro who might let the excitement of the moment get to the better of him, because they had guns. Let me skip. The great majority of the Negroes kept their seats, and it was only the more excitable ones who appeared to be anxious to present what they termed as a slap at the Negro race. Let's continue. Let me skip here to the moment. I'll get to this point. I'll go here. At this juncture, Captain Capers called to Thompson to put his stick down, but Thompson paid no attention to him and continued his remarks, at the same time swinging his big stick through the air. Remember, Thompson is so-called black. Capers is so-called white. I think that's what I think it is. Capers then, maybe he's not. Maybe he's, well, no, whatever. Let's continue. I'm not gonna guess on Capers. I think he's white. Capers then reaches around Thompson in front and tried to get his hand on the stick. With this, Thompson swung around to his right, with the stick raising his arm in his right hand. Without further ado, Captain struck Thompson in the chest and knocked him backwards off the platform. So as you can see, there's other people here trying to get order in place. So here goes, it continues down here and it says, when order was finally restored, the convention elected the following delegates and alternates to the National Republican Convention. And who was one of them? John G. Capers, who was basically wrestling with Thompson. And then the alternates were Robert Smalls, Buford. Huh. Robert Smalls, Buford. So now, if you look through here, I went around and I kind of looked this guy up. His name is Robert Smalls of Buford. And several articles came up about him. So I'll get through them real quickly. This is from June 10th, 1900, Virginia Pilot. Okay. So it says here, General Robert Smalls of Buford, South Carolina. So now he's another slave who appeared in the house was General Robert Smalls of Buford. So now if you look at this one, it's talking about the successful Negroes who sat in Congress of Nations. This is 1900. What are we missing, family? What similarities? I mean, I don't know, man. Look at this. Here is the last of his race. The epoch is closed, seated in the remote corner. A light mulatto of sturdy physique. He has close cropped, kinky hair and 2 inches of whiskers, militaire. The eyes are bright, the mustache neatly trimmed, and the hair parted in the middle. Slight trace of Ethiopia in his features. I see a lot of equality between so-called people that for supposedly many years are only having equality now. So anyway, so that's one. Okay, I'm just kind of going through it quickly, then I'll show you guys something else, and that's it. There it goes again. Now he's called Colonel Robert Smalls of Buford. Both of them Negroes. $1901. You look at this one here. Well, it's the same article, sorry. Oh, no, it's not. I was looking at something else. Sorry, my bad. Let me just look at one more and then we'll move on. This is December 2nd. Columbus, South Carolina. Former Congressman Robert Smalls of Buford, who is now collector of the port, is endeavoring to get a strong expression from the South in favor of reducing the representatives of this part of the country in Congress. General Smalls is sending circulars to leading Republicans all through their region, urging their activity in this line. The old Negro leader does not agree with President McKinley that the Republican can hope for electoral votes from the South. All the whites will be against the Negroes in the state of election, and he sees no benefit to be derived by his race from a division of the whites. If the Negro is not to be allowed to vote, he will be of value to neither party, he says. He would be deprived of the little advantage he now has of representing and being the party in the South. Sorry, man. Let me see that. And it's an African-American branch of the government. What I mean, yeah. No, and you know, it's funny you say that, the whole thing about Black Caucus, because it's true. The White Caucus. I wonder why they call it caucus. Maybe because they know they're white. They just got a tan. Anyway, let me move on from this. Okay, you guys get the picture of this particular person. Matter of fact, May 9th, 1913. Watch what it says here. The story of a noted Negro officer is told in the Washington Post by A.R. Jones of Buford. After long service under the federal government, than perhaps any other Negro, Robert Smalls, collector of customs at Buford, is slated to be separated from the national payroll, blah, 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 blah. So we see. All right, so now, check this out. Here's my point, okay? We have a particular nation of people. I'm going to say nation because that's who they are. They're the same people. That they say that they either are us and we replace them, or that we are them but we mixed with the white man. and that they never mixed at all. Okay, so supposedly that the reason I look like this, right? You know, with my chunky face and shit. I've been eating a lot lately. That it's because my family mixed with gringos. All right, my DNA says otherwise. Like I don't have any. And then they say that they never mixed with gringos, and that's why they are supposedly the tribe of Judah, or that's why black people supposedly have thin lips and straight hair, all that stuff, right? Okay. Well, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Again, from the same article session, these are the Chronicling America. These are old articles, man. You guys can look them up, okay? chroniclingamerica.loc.gov. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Miscegenation. So I went between a couple years from 1895 to 1914. I could have gone further, but for the sake of limiting, I wanted to show you guys this real quick. No objection to the prohibited laws against miscegenation. You guys have to understand, why are they passing laws? Supposedly people say, oh, because white people were racist. No. Let's be clear. Why is it such a problem? You got to pass laws. Let's put it this way, family. If immigration wasn't an issue, why are they trying to pass so many immigration laws? You see what I mean? The reason why this was a law is because this was happening for quite a long time. A long time. Listen, he declares that the Negro problem, the problem of miscegenation, was the white man's problem. The Negro being the clay and the nation the potter, that as the hybridization process began under slavery and continued for 240 years, it was not difficult to place the blame for the original attacks upon the racial purity. As in 1790, there were hardly any mulattoes, quadroons, or octoroons, while in 1890, 100 years later, the black had increased by 400%, and the mixed Negro so much that it was impossible to approximate it mathematically. Here, clearly we see that white people and black people were mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing. So, how can you sit behind a 12-tribe chart, assume that because you look a certain way, oh, that means you are that person? No, that's dumb, because you want to know something, and then the nerve to tell us that, oh, we look this way because we mixed with them. You guys have more white blood in you than we do of them.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
That's what I'm trying to determine here. And then, listen, before you tell me who I am, why don't you tell yourself who you are? Before you're trying to, implement or increase this Afrocentric ideology in our continent. Look, listen, I don't understand what's going on here, quite frankly, other than scripturally, but how can people of another continent come to this continent, tell us that we're illegals, and yet they're not from this continent? I don't understand that. Then come here and tell us that we're the ones that mix with other people, and that we're now looking like this because we mix with other people, but yet we find out that the same people that first white eugenics told us that we're like some kind of, virus and savagery. Then, quote unquote, black eugenics tells us that we're some kind of virus and mongralism. And now we come to find out that, wait a minute, there was miscegenation for hundreds of years. After pointing out that hardly 2 southern states prohibited white intermarriage with a person who had some Negro blood, he said, few indeed of the state flatly prohibit intermarriage of the races, as they would do where their legislator genuinely in earnestness of their abhorrence of Negro blood. If they had the courage of their conviction, they would bar one drop of Negro blood. They leave us instead to infer that they believe that there's at a point at which intermixture of Negro and white blood is beneficial, or have any other, to them, good and sufficient reasons for compromising or deciding to lower the legal bar sinister. Such, for instance, as South Carolina, when she desired to protect some of the leading white families who were known to be tainted.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
White families being tainted. But we look like this because we mix with them. My DNA says otherwise. Now, I know you guys don't believe in that. Well, you don't believe in DNA. You don't believe in the scriptures. You don't believe in the historical books. You don't believe in our historical diet. No one else eats what we eat around the world. We have actual documentation that our people were light skin and dark skin, straight hair, thin lip, thick lip, big nose, little nose, aquiline nose, like all kinds of varieties. But yet we are the ones that should be looking in the mirror and saying, you are the hybrid. Why should I sit this way? Why should I let you guys tell me what I'm reading and you're telling me that I'm wrong? But it says here, the range is wide enough and attractive enough to satisfy the most adventurous and exciting among us. He was not disposed to be disturbed by legitimate miscegenation in its ultimate effect, as they would take care of themselves as they had done ever since the present European Caucasian race sprang from the Negroes' ancestors, the Euro-Africans.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
What have I been saying? What have I been saying? But no, yo soy el racista, güey. You guys are trying to tell me that I'm a mixture, that I'm a mongrel, that I came from Chinese people or Japanese people. I don't know what the hell you guys thinking I'm come from. So I'm like, okay, fine. Oh, and that I once was black or whatever. That's what, One West doctrine teases us. And then all of a sudden, I'm doing my homework, and I'm like, bro, I am far from anything that you've been teaching me this whole entire time. And I'm supposed to be happy with that. I'm just supposed to just shut up and sully your pride, Doc. Yet it says here, he would not dispose to be disturbed by illegitimate miscegenation and its ultimate effects, as they would take care of themselves as they had done ever since the present European Caucasian race sprang from the Negroes' ancestors, the Euro-Africans. What is he saying right there, family? What do you think he's saying right there? Look at that right there. You make the case. Because apparently, look, he asserted emphatically that the mulatto had increased faster than either white or blacks from 1850 to 1890. Hold on, let me say that one more time. Gotcha, bitch. Okay, now it says here, the increase being 92%. 92%, like my DNA shit says that I'm 92% of this continent. The black increase 65%, and the white increase, excluding about 13, million immigrants, only 52%. So a lot of what's his name? The Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. I guess his dad got a DUI, 3 of them now, right? That's why he's so white looking and his dad's so dark looking. Like, listen, every single one of you guys that are either white and you're being told by a black guy that you don't belong in their camps, you should go back and tell them they're full of shit because your great granddaddy is black. And then you black folks that are in these camps telling white people that you're not part of that tribe, well, then you need to do your shit because your great grandpa is black, is whackety white. This is from the same position, same article, the many times, October 9th, 1895, they were trying to determine what to consider white as a white standard. So here, they're going through sections in a sense of amendments. Any white person who shall live and cohabit with a Negro or mulatto or person who shall have any Negro blood shall be guilty of misdemeanor and shall be punished as General Assembly may describe. Why? Because, yes, you started having some racist-ass white folks who did not want to do anything to do with Negroes. But you see, this wasn't always the case. This was all up until 1865 and 1885, family. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Historically, we have nothing in common. Because check this out. Then these particular so-called amendments or delegations of Congress making laws or walls, so to speak, we were never in any consideration of any type of qualification. Because let's put it this way. You were white or you were black. But guess what? As long as you're not a native, then you good. In these articles, it literally says that. I don't want to look for it, but it says that he would rather keep it all fully to each his own and not Mexicanize those two cultures. I was looking for it, family. I kid you not. not to Mexicanize, meaning don't mix with, if you're going to make, keep it white and black, but don't mix with Mexicanizer. And that any white person who shall live and cohabit a Negro or mulatto or person who shall have 1/8 or more Negro blood shall be disqualified from holding any office. You see, so try that to determine. Okay, so like, you know, but remember, keep in mind that there's such a thing as called white standard. I'm going to touch that on another class. So now, why am I bringing this up? Because I'm going to show you this book real quick. Let's move on to this. I'm going to show you this real quick because look, like I said, man, I'm going to be objectively speaking, okay? And objectively speaking, I've had enough. I've had enough. Objectively speaking, I know who I am, and I know who my gente is. Now, I know that maybe a lot of you guys think that I'm an asshole, I'm a racist, I don't give a shit. No, man. If I was a so-called white man, I'd be the best freaking white man in the world. If I was a so-called black man, I'll be the best black man in the world. But I'm a so-called indigenous man. So I'm going to be the best indigenous man in the world. Okay? So whether you like that or not, I don't care anymore. Whether you believe me or not, I don't care anymore. I know what I'm finding. And the more I find, the harder it gets. Sometimes I just want to shut this channel off and say, man, the hell with all this. I'll continue to teach my family. But not for some reason, I continue to fight. Let's begin.
We can only begin to imagine the sheer horror of the slave trade. But what if we could place an actual ancestor within that story? We were able to do just that for one of Tom Joyner's ancestors, his third great-grandfather, Tony Dumas. Can you read where it lists Tony Dumas' birthplace? On the far right.
Place of birth, Africa.
Africa. Your great-great-great-grandfather, Tony Dumas, was born in Africa around 1790. We tracked down a direct male descendant of Tony's, a distant cousin of yours, and we asked him to take a DNA test to see where Tony was born. So if we found a match, that's where the brother came from. Would you mind turning the page of the scrapbook? This could mean your great-great-great-grandfather was a member of the Balanta people from the country of Guinea-Bissau.
On the coast?
On the coast. It is an exact match. Yeah.
How do you think he was captured?
Probably through a war. You know, there were African middlemen, and they would fight wars with other Africans to enslave them to sell to the white man. Slavery was a huge business for different African kingdoms. You know the story that we got when we were kids, that your ancestor was out on one Sunday with his girlfriend and some white man jumps out of the bush and throws a net over him? It's not how it happened. Slavery was big business. Africans sold other Africans to the Europeans.
So after he was snatched from Africa, came over on a slave ship? On that long boat ride?
From hell?
Yes.
Discovery.
Now, here's what I find so interesting to me. BHI will make this guy a Judite and will claim that I'm Issachar. And yeah, because of the features. We, like dummies, believed it too. So now let's go into this one. This is a little longer. And then I got something to read and we'll call it a night. Let's go. I'm going to speed it up.
My mother was Pauline Augusta Coleman. I'm related to the Redmonds through her. Unfortunately, she passed away in 1987. So I wanted to share this revelation with my father while he was visiting my cousins.
Where are you coming in?
Hi, Daddy.
How you doing, boy?
Fine.
Where are you coming in?
Hi, Daddy.
How you doing, boy?
Fine.
That family. Does that man look like a so-called African American man? No, he doesn't. Now we got to rethink about how our gente looked at them since they've been mixing for quite some time. For example, when people in Texas took over Texas in 1828, it wasn't what we thought it was. Let's continue. I'll shut up now.
How are you?
All right.
What do you think of that? Were you surprised that white women were sleeping with black men in the 1600s?
That is something.
That's amazing, huh?
I'm surprised you could, that one, that it happens, and two, you could do it for any period of time and get away with it and still survive.
Just a man, and the black man would have been a slave. The African American people wear racial mixture right on their faces. And the greatest percentage of our admixture comes from European ancestors.
You guys hear that?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Let's hear that again.
Percentage of our admixture comes from European ancestors. But for some reason, it's much easier for us to imagine another source.
He knew his grandmother, Elizabeth Redmond, and he said she was a full-blooded Cherokee.
Like almost all African Americans I know, my relatives are convinced that we have Native Americans in the family.
You see, and when you have a racist mentality, you justify this that you are in your right, God-given set of huevos to say what you say. And at the same time, you totally disrespect the experience, the rape, the rob, the pillaging, the controlling of a nation, the stealing of the mind, the rape of a spirit, and then to come and try to usurp yourself over us still to this very day. And because of this ignorance or stupidity, whichever one you want to look at, you have the quote, quote, audacity to sit here and still claim without doing your due diligent homework. You've had an advantage over us for quite some time, both of these nations, and yet you want to sit here now and still try to claim that we're ignorant and you're not. I beg to differ at this point.
This is Lucy's sister, and she had hair down to her knee. I thought she looked, like a Native American. And that's, like I said, that was my mom, and she wore 70s headbands.
Oh, your mom?
From the 70s.
Oh,
She
your
looked
mom's
like,
cool.
everyone thought she was Native American.
I have a little Choctaw Indian in my background.
She looked like an Indian woman. She looked like, like straight off the prairie.
They talk about the cheekbones and.
Yeah, you do have high cheekbone.
Yeah.
She always had long black hair, and so that's Indian hair.
But I've long been suspicious of these stories. How could so few Native Americans sleep with so many African slaves? That's why I've asked the geneticist, Dr. Mark Shriver, to put these rumors to the test.
Now, see how he says to put these rumors to the test. You're going to find out why it's so much easier to claim instead of listening to what I've been saying. Look, by you guys telling us that the reason we look this way is because, and you would say that our mothers got raped. You would say that. And we, I don't know if it's ignorance or stupidity, one of the two, we embraced it. Now that we're saying, wait a minute, just hold on a real second here. Hold on a second. I want to now question you. And then what now? Oh, no, now it doesn't apply. Let's continue.
We're going to go on to Tina Turner. Her family reports indigenous American ancestry.
Oh, yeah.
Tina grew up believing that two of her grandparents were part Native American.
But you're only 1% Native American.
Now, you know damn well in this TikTok world or Instagram world that they use Tina. Oh, that's a native for sure. Blah, 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 blah. Look, we're Egyptian. Blah, 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 blah. She's 1%. 1%. And you're going to notice that a lot of these people that are quote, quote, African American or African, so to speak, they still don't, they're like neglect the 30% of European bloodline in them. You guys have a very deep history that you need to look at. And IUIC, GMS, ISUPK, Sakari, y'all really need to stop doing what you're doing. Let's continue.
1% Native American. You know how your family has always thought that you had all this Native American heritage?
Yes.
It was white heritage that you had.
All this time, I've been thinking Indian. I was dying to find out what tribe it was.
You're from the tribe of Europe.
IUIC will say, you're from the tribe of Judah, Let's go.
Wow.
And I'm 3% Native American. So I got just a little Indian in me.
You got a little Indian in you.
0% Native American. And 0% Native
There you
American.
go.
And 0% who were Native American.
I'm gonna have to tell the Choctaw Nation in Oklahoma now. I misrepresented myself. I'm not Choctaw at all, you know.
And you'll see there's no figure for Native American because you ain't got no Native American.
Set the record straight.
Even Don Cheadle, who we would expect to have some Native American ancestry because, because of the connection to the Chickasaw members of your family.
And you know, this isn't like, for this example, this gentleman here, man, I like him as an actor, man, honestly. And he looks like he's sincerely looking at it like, damn, you know what I mean? I got no problem with you making a mistake. But, you know, you got some people that even after we clear this up, no, the avalanche, you're still riding the wave, which is eventually going to dwindle, and I see it. But, you know, I guess it just has to be this way. Let's continue.
Owned by Native Americans. But we don't find any.
Wow.
And you're not alone in not having any measurable Native American ancestry. 1 in about every 20 African Americans only 1 in 20 has any significant amount of Native American ancestry.
So apocryphal. Yeah. No. Turns out they didn't really dig you that much.
To get to the bottom of this contradiction, for once and for all, I've invited an expert on Native American history to meet me at Harvard.
Listen to what this gentleman says. Let's go.
Dr. Claudio Sant.
Claudio, one common belief among African Americans is that the slaves managed to escape from plantations and find refuge with their Native American brothers and sisters. They'd sit around the campfire, slapping five and smoking a peace pipe with Cochise. Did this happen?
In some cases, it happened, but just as often, these fugitive slaves were captured by Indians and returned to the planters. And in fact, the colonies had policies. They implemented policies of rewarding Indians who returned fugitive slaves. They might be given 2 guns and a kettle if they brought back a live slave, and half as much if they brought back a dead slave, or rather, the 2 ears of a dead slave, which is what they required.
According to Claudio, substantial social contact only occurred in the early colonial era, when settlers enslaved Native Americans and African Americans together, and between the Revolution and the Civil War, when a small number of black people were enslaved by the 5 civilized tribes.
If this is true, why does every African American...
Listen, here is the point. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. You know, that was an example. I'll tell you right now.
American I know believe that their grandmother had high cheekbones and straight black hair.
I think it's probably a desire to be associated with people who are portrayed in popular culture as fierce warriors and who resisted the United States. And if you're a slave or an African American living in Jim Crow America, who wouldn't want to be associated with someone like Crazy Horse or Geronimo?
It's easier to say we got a little Indian in us than to say we got raped a few times.
Right.
That's
a really good point.
True, and this is so true. It's easier to say that. That's why when they were telling us, if you guys have walked these paths of this Hebrewism, so-called, you know that that's what they were telling us. They'd bring up, the typical scripture. And here, let me take my hat off real quick. They bring up the typical scripture, and I've said it to you guys before. Like, hey, listen, man. 1 Corinthians 15:52, which maybe if it would have been true, I guess it'd be okay. But it's not true. It says here, 15:52, 1 Corinthians 15:52, it will happen suddenly, quicker than the blink of an eye. At the sound of the last trumpet, the dead will be raised. We all will be changed. so that we will never die again. So, you brother that looks like a so-called Spaniard, don't trip, bruh. Why, man? Because when the Messiah returns, Philippians 3:21 has the power over everything, and he will make those poor bodies of ours like his own glorious body. What you saying, man? Well, what I'm saying is that when he returns, even though you look like a beaner right now, you're gonna look like this. Revelation 1:14, his head and his hairs were white like wool, white as wool or snow, and his eyes like the flames of fire, his feet glowing like bronze being heated in a furnace, or as like KJV says, and as white as snow, and his feet like unto fine brass as if it burned in a furnace. So then that's what you basically are telling me right there. That's what you're telling me right there, that I look this way, and then one day I'll look like Chris Rock right here. But Chris Rock's family has like 30% white. So-called. We know it's of the seed. Let's continue.
It's a lot easier to say.
So you make up a myth.
You make up the myth. It sounds much better.
It sounds much
goes
better.
down a lot smoother.
There's a strange sort of security in not knowing a great deal. There's a sense that it's all sort of mystical and lost. Nobody could ever find it, so you could sort of invent any past you wanted to.
Let me tell you something, family. That right there, what he said, this man, I swear, man. I don't like to swear. This walk is not easy. It's not fun. It's painful. As a grown man, you if you say you don't cry when you learn these things, not this specific, just the atrocities, the constant, non-stop oppression on almost any level. Not like, oh, we're suffering, we're this way. Because no, we work hard, man. I don't blame. We work hella hard. That we are who we are. We overcome. But the facts are that this hasn't stopped since 1492. And that's why when you guys tell me, no, you're hurting people's feelings. What do you mean I'm hurting people's feelings? What about our people? What about what they went through? You want me to just brush away that history because it doesn't fit your narrative? Because you're not willing to dig deeper? You think this is fun? You think I wanted to find this out? Like, oh, I'm just mad at everybody, man. I don't want to be mad, man. I don't want to be angry. I hate what happened to our people. And it just bothers me so much more that now the lies are just pulled out. Like my eyelids been wide open, like, whoa. I'm like, whoa, man. Whoa. And the only thing I can do is, hey, like this right here, bro. Man, just in time. I appreciate Meshiacha Chronicles. I apologize if I can't say it right. Man, seek truth. That's seeking truth is painful. It's not fun. Because right when you lean over to that point of anger and hate, you got to come back and repent and like reset again. And that's why it took time to get back in class, because I had to reset again, like reassess my situation. Like, what the hell, man? I'm getting too angry here. Because you want to know something? Reality is, bro, like, this shit ain't going to change no matter how many classes we do. It's up the Most High, and it is what it is, you know? And all I can do is just continue, man. And hopefully somebody hears this and says, you know what, bro, you're right. I know what you're saying, because these are facts. These are facts. And if it's painful, it's supposed to be painful. This change ain't fun, man. If you guys are having fun in this walk, hey, good for you. You're not examining yourself enough. That's a fact.
You can't do that now.
Let me read that. John 6:63. It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. And you want to know something, especially right now, that is what is going to strengthen you. Who's going to quicken? The spirit, not the flesh. Right now, the flesh is not profiting. You see society where it's going. You see where people are at. Anger, fights. Man, the other day, family, this man, it don't matter what nationality, this man cut his father's head off because he, I guess, was going to vote for Biden, and this guy was voting for Trump. The other day, we got people like, listen, man, wars, rumors of wars, like the weather is crazy. What else can you do? You think your flesh is going to handle this? The only thing that's left is the spirit. And it is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profited nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, they are life. That is the only hope that I can conclude, because like I said the other day, my own hand that told me I'm a racist, I'm hurting people's feelings. Oh, okay. But it was okay when I was so effing mad at the white man. When I was just mad at him, it was okay. That's crazy. What's up, bro? Yeah, that's right. I read that already. I brought this out 4 years ago. They excommunicated me because I broke down Genesis 2:9, Ezekiel 28. Damn, that's good, dude. And truth is truth. Yeah, hey, man, for real. All praises, brother. Yeah, much love, bro. Appreciate that you're here, man. Find me, brother. We have many like you. Man, and you know what? On Facebook, bro. Hey, well, I need to. It's funny because I was trying to get away from Facebook, bro. I was getting mad. I was just getting tired of this, bro. Let's finish it up because I got something interesting, man. I'm glad you're here. I got this book that's gonna blow people's minds. So let's get through these videos real quick.
DNA is finally shedding light on one of my family's greatest mysteries. Remember my second great-grandmother, Jane Gates, the woman whose house my cousin just bought? Jane, a slave, had 5 children with an Irishman. Yet she never told anyone his identity. But not even Jane's discretion, or perhaps her shame, could protect her children's father from modern science. Since this man is related to me on my direct paternal line, his Y-DNA haplotype, or genetic signature, and mine are exactly the same.
He's Irish. Go figure. Guy's Irish. And again, hey, listen, this is your history, not mine. It's yours, not mine. So now the question is, what do we do with this? Are we supposed to ignore it? Are we just supposed to say, well, you know, it is what it is?
And Europe.
So let's continue. Let's check out the DNA, the samples, and then we got the book to read, and we're done.
European ancestors. What's especially interesting in your case is that you were adopted. So your genealogy can't prepare us for what we might find in your DNA.
Right.
Okay? Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Why don't you turn that page? Now, according to this test, Linda Johnson Rice, you have an extraordinary amount of European ancestry for an African American, 40%.
40%.
Did you read those results?
20% European.
You're 1/5 white.
Wow.
1/5 white, okay? Listen to this again. See, I'm not making this up. And he looks like Nate the Snake from IOIC, right? He's darker than him. So what you got to say about that? Because doesn't Nate have like little curls not as tight as his? He used to say he was a native.
20% European.
You're 1/5 white.
Wow.
20% European. Yeah, we can't. But, you know, and that's the thing, because when I brought this out to some brothers, man, about certain things that I was finding, like, you know, they were saying, well, you can't come in with that teaching in these rooms. That I'm going off. Let's continue.
Oh, man. I'm horrible in sports, so maybe this explains that. My jump shot is horrible.
I'm 35% European.
19% European.
Are you surprised to know that you have that much European ancestry?
I guess so. As dark complected as I am.
Mm-hmm.
See that? You hear what he said? Listen to this.
Dark complected as I am.
Mm-hmm. It means you're 3rd European ancestry for an African American.
I'm 35% European.
You see, that guy's 35% European, okay?
19% European.
He's 19% European, like 1/5, okay?
Are you surprised to know that you have that much European ancestry?
I guess so. As dark complected as I am.
Mm-hmm. It means you're 3rd white.
Well, that's
33%.
Surprising. You are 33% European.
He's 33%, but you know what they'll say? Wobbleisms or BHI, IUCPK, JMS, IUIC will tell all these folks here that you are from the tribe of Judah. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Because they'll say, "Oh no, you got to be black, you got to be a Hebrew because you black. You can't be white. No, man. You too funny, Chris Rock."
I'm 50-50. To my horror, the chairman of African American Studies at Harvard at the
He is 50-50 family.
time was a half a white man.
Yeah. Wow, you're kidding.
There's a lot of sneaking and creeping back there on the plantation.
I guess. I guess. Oh, my goodness.
Naming these white ancestors, however, is another matter entirely. Much of our European ancestry comes from male slave owners who raped their female slaves. And even when a sexual relationship was consensual, few white men had the courage to embrace their black families publicly. A possible exception can be found in Tom Joyner's family. Tom's great-grandmother was the daughter of a slave and her owner.
And he didn't have a white family? You putting a lot on it, brother.
See, and that's funny because he still says you put a lot on a brother, but you're not a brother. Well, brother, you're white, man. Again, let's just continue.
I'm not finished. Amazing as this was, turn the page, my brother. That is Ed Hall's father, your third great-grandfather.
A Supreme Court justice in the state of North Carolina.
A Supreme Court justice in the state of... That's right. That's your ancestor. Direct, smoking pistol.
I've looked around my family. I've never seen anybody with these eyes until just now.
See? That man is his dad. What are you going to do with that? ISUPK, what's his name? Tazariak or Taserface? What are you going to do with that, Tazariak? Because you're as white as that guy. What are you guys going to do with that? Oh, I'm sorry. It just happened? Is that normal? No, but we're the mixture. This is a joke. This is a joke. So now, let's try to finish this off with this. So I got this book here, and you guys have heard this before. This is from the History as Present State of Virginia. Okay? So there are some wabos that like to use this, especially the guy with a big face, tries to say he looks like a Toltec. And he uses part of this book as an excuse to create a narrative. All right? But let's look into this book. It's not that long. I highlighted some pages, so let me see if I can get to them real quick. Here, let me see. Give me a second. I'm going to do it this way. All right, so highlighted sections. Let's see. So we got here it says page 1327, Pocahontas brought to England by Sir Thol Dale. Captain Smith petitions the Queen in her behalf. So here we kind of read about a story here about a older man marrying a young lady. Technically, what do they call that? Not more. Let me see if I can get my phone. Here it goes right here. All right, so let's see. So we are on, we'll start off on page, we'll get to page 1. All right, let's hold real quick. Oh, it's page 16. Sorry, I got to get to page 16. Okay, so it says here, so this is supposedly a story from an Indian, okay? Just want to show that to y'all. This book was written, I believe, in what year? 1775, I think. I think so. Ooh, man. Give me a second. Let's see. $1705. Pretty old book. Okay. All right. So let's go here. We're going to go to page 5 now, or page 45. Okay. Here we go. Let's start out with here. Just get to the points. Interesting book, I tell you. Is it here? No, not this one. I didn't highlight that one. Let me see if it's condition, August, provisions, vows. Nah, that's not. I mean, that's all matters, but no, that's just John Smith being his punk ass. Let me see this here. No, let's go here. Real quick, just give me a second. Okay, let's go to page 61. Page 61. Let's read this here. While these things were acting in Bermuda, Captain Smith, being very much burnt by the accidental fire of a gunpowder, as he was upon a discovery of his boat, was forced for his cure's sake, the benefit of surgeon, to take his place for England in a ship, and it was then upon pointing a sail. Okay, so here we're seeing actually something happen here. Give me a second if this is the page. Yeah, this is where it's talking about the cruelty, because John Smith had to leave, okay? He had to leave, okay? So let's read this, okay? It was a small settlement. This is on page 22 or page 62 of 376. It says here, small settlements of Kikotan, where they had built themselves a little fort and called it an Algernon fort. And yet, for this, they continued their disorder, wasting their old provisions and neglecting to gather others, so that they who remain alive were all near famine, having brought themselves to the past, they durst not stir from their own doors to gather the fruits of the earth. Meaning that the people that were there that Smith left behind, they were being lazy. They weren't eating. They weren't actually harvesting, right? Or crabs or mussels from the water side, much less to hunt or to catch wild beasts, fish or fowl, which were found in great abundance there. They continued in this scanty circumstances till they were at last reduced to such extremity as to eat the very hides of horses and the bodies of the Indians they had killed. Read that again, my friend. Okay, hold on a second. It says here, as to eat the very hides of their horses and the bodies of the Indians they had killed. And sometimes also, upon a pinch, they would not disdain to dig them up again to make a homely meal, or after they had been buried. Damn. This was the starving times. So these are, you guys decide whether they were black or white, but they were eating themselves. I'll decide. 1705. You like to say that we're the savages. I guess let's try to prove a point. Let's go to, as you can see here, it talks about when he comes back, May 1610, right? This is when they're first starting to establish Virginia. Anyhow, let's continue. Page 25, and we're going to read on the bottom. It says here, 2 ships more arrived with supplies, and Captain Argall, who commanded one of them, being sent to her Potomac to buy corn, he there met with Pocahontas, the excellent daughter of Powhatan. Check this out. And having prevailed with her to come on board to a treat, he detained her prisoner and carried her to Jamestown, designing to make peace with her father by the release. But on the contrary, the prince resented the affront very highly, and although he loved his daughter with all imaginable tenderness, yet he would not be brought to terms by his unhandsome treachery. Till about 2 years after, a marriage being proposed between John Rolfe, an English gentleman, and this lady, which Pocahontas, taken to be a sincere token of friendship, he vouched to consent it to and concluded peace. Intermarriage had been indeed the method of proposed for very often by the Indians in the beginning. You see what I'm saying? They kidnap her. He said, I'm not going to negotiate with you. They keep her. She's young. So guess what? They groom her. Who are the real savages in here? Who's acting like a savage? You kidnap a young girl, man. This is called pedophilia by the white man or the black man, whichever one was here, or both. What do we know? I guess we won't know, will we? Oh, I'm sorry. let's just say it was the white man, for the sake of the Hispanics and the black folks that are offended by my truth. Let's just say this guy was white. Okay? Cause of most of the rapines and murders they committed would be by this means having been altogether prevented and consequently abundance, blood, blah, blah. He's just talking about that if they would have just done something to, without doing this, okay? Besides, there would have been a continuance of all those nations, Indians, and now dwindled. Okay, so he's just saying, like, they could have done this different. Pocahontas being thus married in the year 1613, a firm peace was concluded with her father, though he would not trust himself at her wedding. Both the English and Indian thought themselves entirely secure and quiet. This brought in the Chickahomie Indians also, though not out of any kindness or respect to the English, but out of fear of being by their alliance brought under Pocahontas' absolute subjection. You see this? Who used now and then to threaten and tyrannize over them. Nothing new under the sun. Who are the real savages, I ask? You kidnap a young little girl, and God knows what you do, probably rape her, groom her, and then you say, oh, I'll marry her. Let's continue. This is page 28. That about 10 years ago, being a Virginia and taken prisoner by the power of Powhatan, their chief king, I received from this great savage exceeding great courtesy, again, savage, especially from his son Nantakuas, the manliest, comeliest, boldest spirit I ever saw in a savage, and his sister Pocahontas, the king's most dear and well-beloved daughter. Being but a child of 12 or 13 years of age. See that? She saved his ass. Basically, because of her, they didn't kill him. She should have let him. It just says right there, he had surely slain her. Now you tell me, to what extent are we supposed to ignore this? When should we stop reading, family? I mean, when it's offensive? Is that when we should stop reading? When it hurts people's feelings? But you guys are at the corners telling white folks and not telling them that you had something to say about this. Peace concluded in all at last, rejecting her barbarous condition. She was married to an English gentleman with whom at this present she is in England. The first virgin ever spake English or had a child in marriage. Go to page 32. Just going to go through this real quick. Just show you guys what I found. A lot of interesting things in this book, but a lot of beautiful stuff. You guys going to see. Let's see. I just talked about Pocahontas, how she was over there in England, and I don't know, man. I don't even know how to say it. I'll let you out read it. The guy's name was Thomas Rolfe, but it's funny because I thought it was Smith. Anyways, let's continue. Now we're going to get to the good stuff. Here we go. Let me show you this page too. So you wobbles, you guys are very confusing. And by the way, you show this book, but you only show a picture of it, right? And then like, oh yeah, natives were here before. Shut up, man. Look, in August, following a Dutch man of war, landed 20 Negroes for sale. But we've been reading about natives and Pocahontas, right? Just saying. Let's go to page 139. Check this out real quick. Oh, we got too far. Right around here. All right. So is it this one? Yeah, it is. Come, we didn't highlight it. Okay, that's weird. Let's see. Here's another one. It says here, to disarray the charge of building the Capitol, he suggested the pernicious duty of 15 shillings for each Christian servant imported, except English, and 20 shillings for each Negro. I call this a pernicious duty. So a so-called Negro costs more than a servant. Now, do you think these investment companies, so-called, are going to kill these people that are worth that much more? Things that make you go home, right? Y'all need to start looking at history from a whole different perspective. Hold on. We're going through this rather quickly. Let me see. Page 28. Is this it? Oh, check this out, right? So this is beautiful here. Watch this. Here's the beginning. Again, I've talked about the diet that we maintain, and that if you guys are originally from here, then obviously I don't see why it should be an issue. Let me read that real quick. 2 Corinthians 11:68. But though I be rude in speech, oh man, that's beautiful, bro. Yet not in knowledge, but we have been thoroughly made manifest among you all in all things. For example, one particular in all things, right? That's why I love that scripture, man, because it really, really connects to this part here. Where you at? Where you at? Don't forget it. Oh, you stay in my head. Stay in my head. Stay in my head. Okay, here it goes. This part here. This part here. That's why it says what it says here. 1 Corinthians 1:25, because of the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. For you see, you're calling, brethren, how there are not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. Why? The foolish ones. But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Why? Because we're not going to be eloquent in speech. We're not going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, or delicate, or politically correct, or pasty poupon, Francois. Is that what you call it? No, man. We are not fed from silver spoons. We're dirty. We came from the gutter. I was a bottom barrel alcoholic, man. And all of a sudden now I'm this crazy so-called reader of history. Man, it's crazy. Unbelievable. I'm not just walking up to the scriptures. I'm talking about a history. So when I look back and I go, wait a minute, was I a so-called historian in my spiritual life? Maybe I was. That's why. But God had chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God had chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. Why? Because like John 6:63 said, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profited nothing. You guys are only looking at the flesh. You only look at how tall I am, or how brown I am, or maybe how young I am, or what school did he come from, or what campus is he teaching out of. Bro, y'all are tripping. Verse 28, the base things of the world and the things which are despised had God chosen. Yea, the things which are not, to bring not the things that are. Who is the not chosen right now? Who is getting, listen, man, if you look like me and you're driving in Texas or Florida, you're going to get pulled over for half's sake. And if you don't have your ID or your passport, guess what? You're going to get thrown out. They're not going to give a damn about you. It happened in the first Operation Wetback. What makes you think it's not going to happen again? 2 Corinthians 11:66, for though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things. Why? Because of 1 Corinthians 1. It said it right there. Sorry if I offend you. Sorry if I hurt your feelings, but this is from my spirit, for our gente. Page 28 out of 172, out of 172 out of 376. It says, besides all these, our natives had originally amongst them Indian corn. Ooh, Indian corn family, 1705. Remember this. Peas, beans, potatoes, and tobacco. This Indian corn was the staff of food. Tortillas, güey. Unleavened bread. I cannot live one day without tortillas. I'm sorry. That's just real stuff, man. I can't. I have to have at least a quesadilla or two a day, bro. For real. Then it says here, which the Indians did ever depend. For when sickness, bad weather, war, or any other ill accident kept them from hunting, fishing, or fowling, this was the addiction of home of some peas, beans, and such other fruits of the earth, as there were then for season, was the family's dependence and the support of their women and children. These are 4 sorts of Indian corn, 2 of which are yearly ripe, 2 large late ripe, all growing in the same manner. Every single grain of this, when planted, produces all tall, upright stalk, which has several ears hanging on the sides of it, from 6 to 10 inches long. Each ear is wrapped in a cover of many folds to protect it from the injuries of the weather. In every one of these ears are several rows of grain, set close to one another with no other partition but the very thing husk. He's explaining what this corn looks like, right? Obviously, we know what this corn looks like, man. I don't have to read that to you. Let me see this real quick. The earlier corn yield much larger, handkerchief, blah, 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 3, 4. Let me see if I'm going to read the next page. Maybe I will. Let me see. Generally speaking, the late bright corn, the grain, the seed corn. I just keep seeing corn. Okay, so now my question to you is: if you are originally of these lands, how come you guys don't eat this stuff in abundance? Why isn't it your common daily diet? No, we couldn't have stole this from you. You are in your land. How can we take this from you? Or how could a white man say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to give this to them because you can't have it no more"? That's crazy. John 7:24. It reads, "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." And that is the problem with these camps. Y'all went with your hate and anger, and you didn't look at repenting. That's why I'm not just, no, you know what? I'm not going to share this because I'm going to offend black people. The hell with you guys, man. This isn't about you. It's about facts. It's about truth. Isn't that what you guys care for? Isn't that what you guys teach in the corners, in the streets? Isn't that what you're saying to every single soul? I mean, a matter of fact, you're putting your foot on their faces, for God's sakes. These are people that, I don't even know what to tell you. Let's go to page 195. We're halfway through this. Let me read this real quick. Isaiah 14:21, while looking for this. "Prepare slaughter for his children and for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with the cities." And how is that going to happen? By bringing truth. By waking our hand up, like, wait a minute, hold on a second. I'm not confused anymore. What are you telling me? When I give this stuff to my kids are reading this other book called, this one here real quick. It's called, here, I'll show you. This is the one I'll read to you guys. I'll read this another probably Saturday, okay? It's called there's one right here. Watch this. This one here, read right through it. It's not that long. It's called Discourse or Evidence, and Discourse on the Evidence of the American Indians being descendants of the lost tribes of Israel by M.M. Noah. Excellent material. I went through that pretty quickly. It's really good, to be honest. I'll show that on your, I believe, Saturday, like I said. Let's continue with this here real quick. So this is another out of page 195 or 376 or the actual page of the book. Watch what it says on the bottom. "The Indians are of the middling largest stature of the English. They are straight and well proportioned, having the cleanest and most exact limbs of the world. They are perfect. They are so perfect in their outward frame. I've never heard one single Indian, okay? I never heard one single Indian was either dwarfed, crooked, bow-legged, or otherwise misshapen. Check this out. Their color when they are grown up is a chestnut brown or tawny, but much cleaner in their infancy, meaning lighter skin. Their skin comes afterwards to harden and grow blacker by greasing and sunning themselves." John 8:16, "And yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and the Father sent me." Man, all praise to that one. Because technically, that's my only testimony. I'm not serious, with a narrative trying to, look. No, man, these are books that I found. Y'all read it. You guys read it. You guys decide. Wabos, listen. Stop trying to be us. The only reason you have straight hair or light skin or thin lips is because you are white. And live with it. It's totally okay, because guess what? We lived with that idea for a long time. But now it's time for you to self-examine. Let's see if you're able to overcome that. Spiritually, we've been doing it for 500 years. Their skin comes afterwards, harden and grow blacker by greasing and sunning themselves. They have generally coal black hair and very black eyes, which are most commonly graced with that sort of squint which many of the Jews are observed to have. Their women are generally beautiful, possessing an uncommon delicacy of shape and feature, and wanting no charm but that of a fair complexion. Let's continue. The great men in better sport preserve a long lock behind their distinction. It says here, their bodies are cleanliness or sake. The women wear the hair of the head very long, either hanging at their backs or brought before a single lock, bound up with a fillet of peak or beads like a stick. It's commonly greased and shining black, but never painted. Straight, like our sisters, like my daughter. Let's continue. Oh, we're gonna read this right here. Check this out, okay? 190. Oh wait, did I pass it? $196. Oh, 199. Sorry. 199 on the bottom. It says here. Watch this. Their shoes, when they wear them, are made of entire piece of bulk skin, except when they sew a piece to the bottom. To thicken the sole, they are fastened on with running strings, the skin being drawn together like a purse on the top of the foot and tied around the ankles. The Indians' name of this kind of shoe is a moccasin. You guys have seen the shoes. Let's see here. The upper part of the sword make the ridge. Check this out. The upper part of their hair is cut short to make a ridge, which stands up like a comb of a cock, like a rooster. The rest is either shorn off or knotted behind his ears. Okay. Then it says here, on his head are stuck 3 feathers of the wild turkey. Then it says here, check this out. A star half moon. His apron is made of deer skin, gathered around the edge, which hangs like tassels or fringe, like fringes. Right? Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting, I say. Okay, so now we're on page 4. Okay, cool. Let's continue. Oh, perfect. Let's go to this other one. We're halfway through, fam. Hang in there. Let's get him even better. Oh, here it goes right here. Okay, so check this out. The cut of their hair is likewise peculiar to their function. For this is shaven close except a thin crest like a cock comb which stands brightening up. So it's like a mohawk. You know what I'm saying? Like a mohawk straight from the front to the back. From the front to the back. From front to the back, okay? Front to back, all right? But it's straight. So only we can have, like, cut our hair en un piquito, como está parado de enfrente para atrás. You know what I'm saying? And it says here, and runs in a semicircle around the forehead, up in the crown of the neck of the head. They likewise have a border of hair over their forehead, which by in the natural sense, I'll give an example, like this guy. But it means like this. Okay, watch this. Watch this. Fernando Vargas. This guy here, when he was young, this right here. That's what they used to do, family. Right there. Like that, man. Like that. Okay, so check this out. It says here, they likewise have a border of hair over the forehead, which is by their own natural strength, and by this stiffening they receive grease or paint will stand like the peacock. Exactly like this kid right here when he was young. Fernando Vargas, like they called the rebels back in the day, like in the 90s and shit. 1996, 94, they were called so-called rebels. They used to listen to Deep House and all that stuff. I grew up in those eras, man. Y'all think I'm dumb? Bro, listen. Again, I may be rude in speech, but I'm not rude in knowledge. So let's continue. We're almost done. It says, likewise is fringed with tassels for ornament's sake. Again, it shows Numbers 15:38. Y'all know what that is. If you are studying, Numbers 15:38 talks about wearing fringes. No wonder they want your heritage. I mean, shoot, if I was them, I guess I would too, but no, not really, actually, man. I'd just be happy with who I am. Well, when I knew all it was so-called Mexican, I was okay with it. You can't change what you are. Page 212 out of 376. to the young Indian women are said to prostitute their bodies for Wapanga Peak, routines, beads, and other such something. Yet I never could find any ground for accusation, and believe only to be unjust scandal upon them. This I know that if ever they had a child while they are single, it is such a disgrace to them that they never after get husbands. Besides, it must to do them. Hold on. The justice to say, I never heard the child of any of them have before marriage, and the Indians themselves disown any such custom, though they acknowledge at the same time that the maidens are entirely at their own disposal and may manage their persons as they think so. So, meaning that we raise our daughters righteously and properly, even back then, family. I'm very proud of my daughter, and I'm really thankful that she has the spirit of the Most High, because she's in her 20s and she's still honoring the household. What else can I ask for, fam? Especially in this society, you crazy, man. You crazy. Respectful, smart, and beautiful. Let's go to page 12. Let's continue. We're almost through. This is page 12? 221, bro. Oh, I'm sorry. Page 13. Oh, here it goes. Check this out. This is the beautiful part. Again, so let's later. Para que vean, güey, para que vean. Again, it goes back to this, family. You cannot say, okay, fine. If somebody enslaves you and takes your heritage, go, okay, cool. They can do that. But do not say and sit here that they took your diet, because this is the diet that all people in the Americas had. This is the cookery has nothing compatible in it, commandable in it, but it is performed with little trouble. They have no other sauce but a good stomach, which they seldom want. They boil, broil, or toss all meat they eat. And it is very common with them to boil fish as well as flesh with their hominy. What? You know, like pozole, güey. Así como cuando haces pozole, cabrón. Cuando haces pozole, you do it with meat. All right, so let's continue. This Indian corn soaked, broken in mortar, meaning made out of tortilla, like unleavened bread, husk, and then boiled in water over a gentle fire. So I know this for a fact. Hey, Jeremias, buenos dias, my brother. You know this. Elotes, bro. Roasted elotes, man. Come on now, man. For 10 or 12 hours till they constitute of firmity. The thin of this is what my Lord Bacan calls cream of maize. So you can basically consider this atole, güey. Just saying. Anyways, and highly commends for excellent sort of nutrients. Excuse me. It says here, they have two ways of broiling. One by laying the meat itself upon the coals. The other laying it upon sticks raised upon forks at some distance above the live coals, which heats more gently and dries up the gravy. This day, and we also from them call barbecuing. I thought that was a black thing. Just like Wakanda. It's not a black thing. Wakanda is our shit. Okay? And, you know, sorry to tell you, Dr. Umar. Wakanda forever. It's our shit. And I've proven it. So stop lying. Stop lying, people. It's over. The game's over. Check this out. It even gets even better. It says here, they bake their bread either in cakes before fire or in loaves on a warm hearth, covering the loaf first with leaves. That sounds to me like tamales, way. Then with warm ashes and afterwards coals over. These are tamales right there, family. Come on now, man. Come on now, man. Come on now, gosh. Now this is going to get even better. This is going to get even better. This is going to get even better. And I'm about to finish because you can't take, at this point, it's over, family. It's over. This is when I fell back. Their food is fish and flesh of all sorts, and that which participates of both, as the beaver, a small kind of turtle, or terrapin, as we call them, the several species of snakes. Likewise, check this out. They likewise eat grubs, the nymph of the wasp. Now I'm like, the nymphs of the wasp? So check this out. Nymphs of the wasp. Watch what it is. You look at it and you're like, oh no, those are wasps. No. That's not what it meant. It looked like that. But this is called Nymph. Right here. Nymph insect. What does that look like, family? Grasshopper. Gotcha, bitch. It's getting fun, man. It's getting too fun. It's getting too fun. Nymph and a grasshopper. Watch this. That's what a nymph is, family. A nymph is a grasshopper. Grasshopper nymph. That is biblical. That's in the Bible. That means that we can eat those insects. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. Some kind of scarabée. Oh, not like scarabée. What the hell is that? Check this out. Scarabée, I believe. Alelo bien, güey. Scarabée. Oh, scarabée. Sorry, scarabée. And this is a beetle, which scriptures say that we may eat. The grasshopper, the beetle, I don't know specifically which one. Now, check this out. These last are such as told in the markets of Fez and such as the Arabians, Libyans, Parthians, and Ethiopians commonly eat. And we are informed that St. John was dieted upon locusts and wild honey. Why? Locusts are nymphs. Hey, exactly, bro. Now you get my point? And I used to collect those when I was little, man. That's why I look at my life and it's like, bro, all of this is coming to fruition. Every experience that I've had in my entire life is coming to fruition in my own very experience and face. Let's see. I think. Oh, here. Let me show you this one. Sorry, man. I know I was going to say this one, but I got a few minutes. Let me show you this one. Check this out. It says here, you guys, hey, Raza, you're going to love this. They delight much to feed on roasting ears. Told you, elote rostizado, way. That is the Indian corn, gathered green and milky before it grows to its full bigness and roasted before the fire in the ear. Come on now, family. Come on, man. This is too crazy. Leviticus 11:22. Even these of them you may eat. The locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. Proverbs 15:31 and 32. The ear that breathes, that heareth the reproof of life, abateth among the wise. That is so true, family, because when you hear something, you got to accept it even if it goes against your emotions. He that refuseth instructions despises his own soul, because if you are a rebellious, then you are into witchcraft, because that's what it means. But he that heareth reproof gathereth understanding. So if you've been teaching these things, and I show you these things, guess what? Study them for yourselves and find out, you know what? This guy's right. What you want me to tell you? We are the people of the book. And if others are, then I'll call it for them. But historically, if you compare us to them, it doesn't happen. It doesn't. And listen, I'll be honest with y'all. No Hispanic is trying to be an Egyptian. No Hispanic, so-called, is trying to be an African. No Hispanic is trying to be somebody he's not. Matter of fact, he's trying to be somebody that he is. And you guys have a problem with that now, because I'm trying to be the person that I am. In the woods, they gather chincapins, chestnuts, hickories, and walnuts. The kernels of the hickory they beat in mortar and water and make white liquor like milk. You know what they call this? Hey, Jeremias, what do they call this, bro? White liquor like milk. In case you guys don't know, they may call that pulque. From whence they call milk hickory. This is our heritage. So when I'm showing my children this type of material, you want to know something? It makes them happy, because from what we hear constantly, then it says here, but they can manage it so as to a case of necessity to make bread of it, just as the East Indians. Oh, listen to this. Watch this. Out of the ground they dig shrubs earth nuts, wild onions, and a tuberous root they call tuckahoe, which while crude is of a very hot and virulent quality, but they can manage it so as if in case of necessity to make bread of it, just as the East Indians and those of Egypt are said to do on the Colossi. I think what they're talking about is chile, which while crude is very hot, you see? So, we know that in this East Indians, they like curry, spicy food. So that's what they're saying. So again, if you guys wobbles are from this continent, why don't you eat spicy food? I'm just saying. The custom themselves to eat to not so meals, but eat night, day. They have plenty of it. Sorry. They're very patient in hunger. But let me get through this real quick. Hold on. We got a few more. Matter of fact, let's just finish through it because we got a few more and that's it. Page 20 or 232. Check this out. So this goes for Candace Dumbhead Owens. A little bit of this peace pipe. If the stranger refuses to smoke it, it is a sign of war. So they share peace pipes because we had a lot of dialects. Here, I'll read it to you. They take a pipe much larger and bigger than the common tobacco pipe, expressly made for that purpose, which all towns are plentifully provided. They call them the pipes of peace. This peace pipe always filled with tobacco before the face of the stranger and lighted. The chief man of the Indians to whom the stranger comes takes 2 or 3 whiffs and then hands it to the chief or the stranger. If the stranger refuses to smoke it, it is a sign of war. If it be peace, the chief of the stranger takes a whiff or 2 in a pipe and presents it to the next great man of town. They come to visit after taking 2 or 3 whiffs. So it's a sign of peace. Candace, nobody's trying to get high like you, like the typical American tradition that you guys have now. But no, apparently you still want to consider us savages, right? Because why? Because you think you're white or because you know something we don't? Oh, but you know what? That's right. I shouldn't say nothing because our so-called Hispanic brothers are going to say I'm offending her because she's black and she suffered tremendously. Check this out. At these assemblies, this custom, especially when at war, is expected. The young men paint themselves irregularly with black, red, white, and several other common colors. I mean, come on, you can't paint yourself black if you're already dark-skinned. Let me see if I have anything else. Is this important? Oh, matter of fact, let's read this. This goes for the idiot that used this book and said that we are devil worshippers and all this shit, okay? And this is the last one that I'm going to read, and then that's it. Just to show you guys something. So this guy has one of our native brothers by himself, and he has a chance to ask him. He says, but on the contrary, if they did not specify the spirit, evil spirit, and make his propitious, he would take away and spoil all those goods that God had given them, and ruin their health, their peace, and their plenty by sending them to war, plague, and famine among them. For said he, this evil spirit, is always bullying himself with our affairs, and frequently visiting us, being present in the air, in the thunder, and in the storms. He told me farther that he expected adoration and sacrifice from them on pain of his displeasure, and that therefore they thought it conveniently to make their court to him. I then asked him concerning the image which they worshipped in their diocases, and assured him that it was a dead and insensible log equipped with a bundle of clouts, a mere helpless thing made by men that could neither hear, see, nor speak, and that such a stupid thing could no way hurt to help them. To this he answered very unwillingly and with much hesitation. However, he at last delivered himself in their broken and imperfect sentence. It is the priest. They make the people believe. And here he paused a little, and then he repeated to me that it was the priest And then he gave me the hopes that he would have said something more, but a calm crust of consciousness and hindered him from making any further confessions. Again, the next book that I will be reading, not today, is this one. And this one is a heavy hitter. Only 40 pages. Not very long, but I already got ahead. So brothers and sisters, I thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys, man. You brother that are here, man. Thank you. Let me read this real quick, bro. I think I read that already. Yes, I did. Leviticus 23:14. And bread and bread and roasted corn and full ears ye do not eat until its same day, until you're bringing in the offering of your God a statute aids during to your generations. Check this out. That book that I'm talking about is exactly that, bro. It actually talks about that right there. So again, listen, y'all make up your minds. You decide what you want to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Whether you are of them or of this kind, either way, I'm not going to put up with this crap anymore. So if you guys think that because, oh, no, he prefers the gringo, estás loco, cabrón. Estos putos, excuse my language, estos hijos de su madre, güey. They're still perpetual haters of our people. All right, listen to this real quick, and then we're done. All right, I'm gonna play a couple songs after this, and then I'm done, family. Now you're gonna start seeing me change initially. I'm gonna try to start off faster, and initially, and then I'll finish up with a couple songs, and that's it. Instead of making people delay. All right, because I think that's more important. All right, check this out.
Again, when they go down there, they don't really see much happening. But why? Why are these people so radicalized to believe there's an invasion happening that they must urgently stop? Could it be because they're seeing comments on the news like this?
We're on the path to having our country taken over by savages the way Europe has done.
Or maybe it's comments like this from Fox News.
Foreign nationals storming the beaches of San Diego like it's Normandy. Look at this. Boatloads of strange men breaching our beaches and just disappearing into the streets.
Or really humane solutions like this man at Fox News.
And by the way, alligators in the Rio Grande would be safer than it would be now because they wouldn't get in the water with alligators. And now they get in the water and they are drowning every single
Brilliant idea.
day.
Thank you.
And put the alligators in the water because you would save lives.
Not that this matters to right-wing media.
Shalom, family. Have a good night.
Los fantasmas del pasado no se detendrán hasta verte derrumbado. Peores lo hemos pasado. Andaba a golpes con la tristeza, me aportó riqueza, me otorgó sabiduría, pues se dibujaba en todas mis piezas. Yo con alegría le daba color después. La aguja sigue girando, tiempo parece se burlar de mí. Dijo que sanaría esperando, pero creo que la espina aún sigue ahí. Con los dedos lo voy palpando. Cierro los puños, escapa de aquí. Agonizando, no me espera el tiempo, no voy a esperar por ti. Nuestras huellas en la orilla se han borrado por la marea. Si esas estrellas ya no brillan, las entiendo pa' que veas. Sea donde sea, bajo la tormenta o dentro de la odisea, donde arañas cubren el cielo de tela, los aviones nadan y los barcos vuelan. Hey, aunque parezca que va bien, no sabes bien si va mal. Besos que pueden doler, ojos que pueden matar. Tengo mi alma en el almacén encerrada, mi corazón está en huelga, mis sentimientos en ámbar. Gente, Calamala dijo que estaría presente. Fallaron como nunca, se fueron para siempre. Millones de razones para vengarme, pero a veces duele más actuar indiferente. Como no quieren ver ahogados, tenemos branquias y cerrados los bronquios como la mente de un guardia. Yo soy la montaña y vine con la cordillera. Más cojones que tu ganga tiene una madre soltera. Tú cúbrete si suena a mí, tú. A mí lo tengo soldado fumando de su palulú. Ni un conjuro de grimorio me lo salva del velorio. Pa' tener pila valorio, se matan vestidos de emporio. Y yo no quiero una pistola, estoy soñando que la vida que quería me llega a tiempo. Desde que yo la vi sola, loco ando. Vino a verme cuando el sol se estaba poniendo y se dejó una pluma y se perdió en la bruma. Nunca se despidió de mí, ey. Nunca se despidió de mí, ey.
Vivo en un mundo que parece roto y sé que no, porque todo es perfecto y lo debo plasmar. Me fumo un trocolor tras otro y lo veo todo otro color. Me siento libre porque vuelvo a conectar. Mi gente sufre y no lo puedo evitar, más que dándole consejos siempre desde la humildad. Es su camino hacia la fraternidad. Solo puedo que enseñarles a respetar y amar. Con esta bendición, como no voy a aprovechar los códigos que llegan, los tenemos que aceptar. Si me reencarné fue para ayudar y no para malgastar mi tiempo en beneficio del mal. En la unión nace la fuerza y eso nos hace juntar las ganas que siempre tuvimos para iluminar a la gente que se le ocurra y la malla armonizar. Vinimos para dar fuego a la que no nos va a quemar.
Arda y por dentro la llama, no puedo contener la ras. Churruscao el corazón, el armazón no puede llegar a pesarme más. Si abro la boca, tu tumba al suelo, me muelo a diario y sobrado de gas. Escupo ristas perfectas, paladas de versos eternos, no mueren jamás. Cuando acabe mi condena, me vi muy solo y perdido. Cada vez más negra la flema, más elegante el problema, pero planté cara a todos mis enemigos. Recuperé las ganas, las fuerzas y el garbo. Dedico requiems a mis diablos, que aquí estoy vivo de milagro. Delicadas flores crecieron entre los cardos. Me dicen bien, es más delgado que de costumbre. Será de tanto que he bailado en el alambre, que a tanta pena es mejor no ponerle nombre. Llevamos la música en vena, nuestra sangre.
Yeah, man. Oh, respect and love from the world, nigga. Show them. You nigga on a microphone. Can't I sit the number for everything? Rock you on the studio. Bomba, claro.
¿De qué manera sufre el alma cuando alguien se va? No hay medicina que cure esa larga enfermedad. La vitamina de la vida en esta sociedad es tan divina que por nombre tiene libertad. Libérate de la mentira que está por llegar. Mide tu orgullo antes de empezar a hablar. Cierra la puerta a quien no merezca entrar, porque hay mucho que se fue y sueña con regresar. Hablemos en silencio y así no me mentirás. El poder de la palabra muere cuando hablan de más. No me fío de oraciones que se dicen por detrás. Si me miras a los ojos no te mentiré jamás. Que besar por besar es jugar por jugar. Y vivir sin amor es vivir sin amar. Solo queda la fe, solo queda soñar. Ponte de pie, ready para luchar. Some love, I can just smoke and there are some love them.
I can just smoke and the light some love.
I remember no fire, no burn. Ribby day.
Call it with a mama soul, yeah.
¿De cuánto tiempo hablamos cuando hablamos de querer? Si la mitad lo malgastamos solo en comprender. ¿De qué manera es más fácil aprender? Que nacemos para ganar y morimos al perder. No puedo dejar de animarte, que cuando te caigas debes levantarte. Llegué para contarte que no todo artista muere por su arte. Traigo el honor de un humano con valor que utiliza poesía para respirar mejor. Escribo prosa para vengar al amor y recuerda aquella rosa que tiraron al contenedor. ¿Dónde se quedó el amor? Hey, no vaya sitio, no microphone forever and ever. Tell me, roll some love, I can just smoke and the light, some love them. I Rastafari my life, some love. I remember no fire, no burn, ribby day.
I live with a farmer soul, yeah. Reggae man a farmer warrior, yeah. I really think. Oh, yeah, man. Y se piensa que la música es un juego, lo lleva claro, hermano. Desde España, internacional, bomba, clack, un Lego. Not really easy. No, no, no. Pure nigga on a microphone. Hey, tell us what? Tell us anything. Tell us from our rasta.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.